cinnamon.
Welcome to episode 134 of the Postmodern Polymath Podcast. I'm your ever suffering host, Chris. And next to me virtually is Zach Law from the Sacrilege Cast. How's it going, Zach?
Good. I decided to open some beers that would be themed well with the guests. Sometimes I just have the same stuff, but Chris likes a variety. So these are from Orpheus, nice Atlanta brewery, does very good stouts. Abandon all hope. So when you're talking to someone who talks to God, and clearly this is the Old Testament God, you abandon all hope. And today I choose violence. So this is like the Mexican kind of hot chocolate beer. It's got a little too much on the cinnamon side. And then this is just a barrel-aged stout in whiskey barrels with vanilla beans and pepper. So it's got a little spice. So yeah,
He
all
always
good.
gets the good beers. Orpheus is a good brewery. All right, so is
Last in my
Zach.
stash.
Zach is going to be kind of a unofficial co-host whenever he pops up. Lyman is off. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. So I don't know. He may every now and again he might pop up. Who knows? He's got like the attention span of a gnat. So who knows? But anyway,
Like a cat.
this fucking cat. Yeah. So Zach is kind of whenever he wants. You know, whenever he wants.
Yeah, it's like a trial thing. We'll see how it goes, I think if I send him beer that's not an IPA, then it could be in the bag.
I'm pretty easy like that as long as it's not an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I don't want to keep our guests waiting too long. This gentleman has a show. What's it called now? He changed it. God Chat with God and Tony. And
Tony and God. That's important.
Is it Tony and God?
Oh, is it God and Tony? Yeah, I'm sorry.
See, it's God and Tony. He fucking disappeared off the face of the planet for 18 months because he was on here. Did you say 18 months? I think, yeah, 18 months.
Yeah, it was
and now
almost
he's back.
exactly after he was on my show, and then
Well, that's
the good thing is when I stop, I have a guest on, then I move on to the next, and I kind of lose track, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I stopped until he kind of popped up on Facebook maybe like a month ago saying he was resurrected. But that story he probably should tell.
Yeah,
so
we're
we'll
talking about the resurrection. So we'll one more thing. Since Zach has showed his beer, this is Deep Cover from Bearded Iris, which is honestly probably one of the best breweries in Nashville, if I'm being honest. It has supposedly marshmallow, chocolate, hazelnut, and milk sugar. I don't taste any of that shit. I taste the chocolate. That's about it.
Sweet. Okay.
It's not even that sweet. I wanted the hazelnut because I like hazelnut. Anyway.
Well, what are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, I know. All right. Without further ado, I'll introduce to the audience everybody's favorite God talker, God whisperer, Tony. How's it going, Tony?
G'day. How are you? I'm good.
Spectacular.
What?
So,
What? Sorry,
ahead.
sure, show. You ask the questions.
No, go ahead.
What strength beer are they all? That's what I want to know. I don't want to know what's in them. I want to know how strong they are, how quickly they're going to get me.
These are about as for some reason in the state I live in, the maximum is 14. It's 13.9. So this one's 13, and this one is also 13, which is a lucky number, I think.
13% beer. That's brilliant.
I got
Exactly.
10%.
That's what the water is, and where you are, right?
I am actually drinking water because it's 10 in the morning.
And
Where's the dedication?
yeah, really.
Yeah.
My beer is 10%.
Jesus, that's serious.
We enjoy high gravity.
We are serious.
It's like that's wine strength.
I drink beer that is the same color as my background right now. So yeah, that's the way you go.
I drink as same as my heart.
So you only need to drink 5 or 6 really, and you're done.
Yeah, just to warm up.
Oh, the tolerance level now is to the point where Anyway, enough about this.
It's probably a good thing that we're talking about darkness, because I believe you were in some kind of dark place for about 18 months or so.
Yeah.
So what was it like being there and coming back? And yeah, I know
Well,
I jumped
first of
on
all, who the fuck is Tony?
it. Who the fuck is Tony?
Well, the second coming, Chris.
Okay.
The second coming.
Second coming of what's the question?
Yeah, so, well, it's hard to explain. But I used to do a podcast called Conversations with God. And I tripped over in the shower one day and died, basically, and went into eternal darkness. And you asked what it's like, and it's much like going in for a major operation. You die, and then sort of like the lights go out, and then you're in eternal darkness for about 18 months, and then you wake up again. So it's quite nice, really. It wasn't unlike the time before I was born.
Interesting. So there wasn't anything, you don't remember anything or anything that happened. It's just 1 minute you're here and the next minute you're somewhere else or whatever.
Yeah, like going under an anaesthetic and then just waking up again. I don't know whether you've had an operation or not. But
yeah, I've had a couple.
Yeah, it's quite unnerving, isn't it? Because I actually asked an anaesthetist once, how does this work, when he was about to perform an operation on my child? You know, how does anaesthesia work? And he actually said, we don't know, we just know it works. And I was like, you're about to, and you don't know?
Don't ask.
Right, okay.
Just
yeah. So that was a bad question. But yeah, bad questions can be good sometimes.
Yes, they can be. So you disappeared. You disappeared for 18 months after Zach's show somehow, which I'm not saying correlation is causation, but it is kind of weird if I'm being honest. So you came back, and was God like waiting for you, or did you have to go like search him out again, or what happened there?
Well, no, he actually resurrected me. He was standing over me, poking me, and then poking me with a stick, and then eventually he helped me up, and we went down into the God Chat studio and started talking again. I wanted to know what had been going on over the last 18 months, and he didn't seem to think there was much going on. And then he mentioned that there was a global pandemic that nearly crippled the world. So business as usual, really, for him. But yeah, his rationale for bringing me back from the dead was boredom. He was bored. So here we are, 3 episodes in. And I think we've got 3 listeners. It's really good.
I'd say it's like triple our
audience.
It's ours. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So
one of them's my mom.
Did God wake you up
my
before?
My mom won't listen to mine.
Did God wake up before or after using the sink as a bidet?
He's been using it as a bidet over the last 18 months. Yeah, a bidet or a bidet. Yeah, he's been using it here. He thought the sink was a bidet, and he's been using it for the last 18 months. So I'm not going to wash my hands in there. It's disgusting.
You probably should.
I guess considering God's age, this question makes sense, but it doesn't seem like God's gotten a lot smarter in the past 18 months.
Oh no, definitely not. If anything, we do something called God's will now, which is basically as he's getting a bit older and he's considering how he's going to disperse his estate when he finally dies. And yeah, I think that's why he's getting it all done and up to date, because he knows. I think he's getting a bit more doddery as he gets older. Like we've just finished recording episode 4, and he's like, the amount of mobile phones he's got is ridiculous, but he keeps leaving them everywhere and buying new ones, and they keep going off randomly. So yeah, he's not all there, but I just want to get some answers before he finally does go to deity heaven. Yeah.
I think we all deserve some fucking answers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to answer for.
He certainly has. Yeah. He's a monster. He's a fucking monster.
So why was it that you decided, like, hey, I want to just rebrand versus, continue the old show and, pretend that no time had passed?
I've no idea, Zach.
Well, next
That's my favorite kind of answer right there.
It's just I don't know.
it's shorter and snappier
I just thought it'd be funny to do that.
to be,
Yeah.
It's easier to say, God chat, right, than conversate, because especially in the South, we're lazy, right? So
Right.
we don't want to say a whole lot if we can get away with it.
But was there any
Yeah.
good negotiation? Was it obvious that God had to be first and you had to be second?
Yeah, there was a lot of negotiation around having my name in it, and so
At all?
basically so what we decided on was his name twice, my name once, and at the end, so that there was two gods before a Tony, and a chat and a with in between. So yeah, he was happy with that.
I mean, it does feel like you were definitely talking to like the Old Testament God, because it wasn't long before he said, "I should have left you dead." That just was kind of cruel. Like, how did you feel when you heard that?
Well, I think it's a natural reaction for him, because all I do is bang on about the Old Testament and slavery, and I think it's just constantly reminding him of what a twat he was when he wrote that, and he's like, "I know, mate, just stop mentioning it." So, I think it grates on him a little bit. In fact, in God's Pocket, we do that each episode, and we try and find what's in there, and usually it's Deuteronomy, but actually we found a nice passage for episode 4. So I was going to close his pocket down because it was so horrible, but we've actually found something nice. What was it? What's in his pocket?
There's some bad stuff in Deuteronomy.
Yeah, Lamentations. We did. It's quite nice. This is it. I'll actually read it out to you. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness. And he was very grateful that I read that out, rather than all the stuff that's usually in the Old Testament. But then I pointed out that he puts cancer inside children, and the mood changed.
I mean, don't put cancer in children.
Yeah,
Pretty easy solution,
isn't it? Yeah.
Don't go dashing babies' brains against the rocks or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
There's a bit about, what was it, selling daughters into slavery, and it kind of kills the mood,
Yeah, it puts.
So anyway, enough about me. What have you been up to the last 18 months, Chris?
What have I been up to? Well, I don't know what Zach's just did a little head thing. I'm going to ignore that.
I was trying to, I always do the wrong way first. So I was like leaning toward you.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I am currently on a weight loss regimen, which, if anybody knows me, is a miracle. So maybe I need to thank God for that one. Who knows? I've lost.
He'll take the credit.
He'll take the credit no matter what. So we know.
You got a connection here. It's good.
20 pounds I've lost so far. I'm looking for another.
Jesus, it's great.
40 pounds. I'm looking for another 40 pounds.
What's the main? Is it beer? Is that kind of like what you?
The main problem? Yeah.
What's the main? How are you doing that? Because that's quite a dramatic.
So the biggest problems for me are shitty food and being sedentary. Now, by nature, I'm thinner. Like, my build is so it's a little easier for me, I think, than some people to lose weight. But it's still not easy. But I've been there's these meals they deliver to you that you can throw in the microwave called Freshly, and like they're pre-made, they're pre-prepared, and they're like got vegetables and shit in there. And so that's a good thing for me to do because I can't cook, right? And then I got an exercise bike now, which everybody on Facebook knows about because I'm going to shut up about it.
No, I've seen it.
You see, there you go.
And you're recovering better now after your sessions, and it's great. It's great, man.
Yeah. We do have a support group. There's another guy on my friends list who's doing the same. I actually inspired a couple of people, which is, frankly, that's surprising and scary for them, if I'm being honest with you. So we'll see what happens.
And you feeling better?
Yeah, it's weird. I'm not used to it. Yeah, getting enough sleep. A little pep in my step. Had some fried food last night, which was not a good idea.
It makes you feel shitty when you haven't had it for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, I feel like shit, bruh. I didn't even realize I was going to do that. Because I exercised afterward. I'm like, oh, God, I just can't do that.
Yeah, it's tough to do that.
So
it's hard to hold the beer while you're riding the bike. That's what I've discovered.
I've shaved well, you can't see now. I'd shaved right here. I'm letting it grow. I'm just lazy. But you see the goatee. I have more of a goatee now. Hair's grown out. Trying to get that old the midlife crisis thing going on.
It's a bit of a COVID hair.
So, you didn't get to see my shirt today. That's the Antifa
Employee of the month, was it?
Yeah, Employee of the Month, and you can't really see it. But at the bottom it says Employee of the Month. So I'm going to march into rural Tennessee and see how they like that.
So this could be the last episode, huh?
No, I've been there. I've been there with the Confederate, the loser Confederate.
I mean, they're scared of that sort of thing. See, I've been on a weight gain regimen. I had a weird, they do, there's a COVID version of, they call it the freshman, 15. Like when you go to college, you gain a bunch of weight because you're eating all the time. But yeah, last year when the whole COVID thing happened and I was working all the time, I was kind of stressed and I ended up losing 15 pounds. And now I've gained that and a little more. So yeah, Chris and I might meet in the middle in terms of our weight at some point.
Well, that was part of the problem. Part of the problem now is I'm just getting back to what I was before COVID, I think. To be honest with you. So part of that.
Yeah, it's weird. It's I'm trying to get into the whole post-COVID, actually seeing people and going out and doing stuff and actually connecting with friends, which I haven't done. In the past year, we had goats at our yard to help clean it up. That was fun. And then we had our kitchen remodeled, which was nice. So
Did you eat the goats?
I'd say I wish, but I made friends with some of them. But they stayed in our yard for 4 days, and they ate the crap out of all the bad stuff. I think it's a British kind of moss that got into the South, and it's on every tree.
That's good.
And so they ate it off all the trees up to 8 feet. They were very efficient. As a business model, they actually did a commercial during our Super Bowl one year when it was in Atlanta, where I live. And that was the company we hired. And yeah, it was 5 days. They were in our backyard for 3. They were in our front yard for 2. And then a couple months ago, I saw a neighbor a mile away from us had them. And I was like, hey, remember me? They didn't remember me. It's very sad. But yeah, me and my goats.
So what about you, man? How did COVID play out in Australia? I'm sure that y'all did a little better than we did.
Yeah, we
locked
actually
down.
We did an amazing job of controlling it. Seriously, a good job. However, in terms of vaccination, the government actually forgot to order any. So, yeah, the government forgot to order the vaccine, so we haven't got the vaccine.
Okay.
So, it all?
I'm sure it was on the to-do list, but I think it got missed off. And actually, we've been in lockdown for the last 3 days because of an outbreak.
Oh shit!
So, yeah,
Australia doesn't mess around. You have 2 cases, and you're all right, we're cutting this. We're cutting it off.
Yeah, exactly.
In the US, we're maybe 10 more shootings, and we'll think about it. No.
Yeah.
They don't even have guns. I mean, they have them, but it's assault rifle guns are outlawed in Australia or something.
In fact, what's quite interesting is that are you au fait with gel blasters in America, or do you just all have real guns?
Wait a minute. Did you say jail blasters?
Gel blasters.
What the fuck are jail blasters?
They're replica guns that fire little gel balls.
Paint guns? You talking about paint guns?
Yeah, similar, but they're gels. They're little balls, and they're biodegradable. So you put them in water. They're tiny.
We don't believe in biodegradable shit here, man.
Well,
we're actually trying to make things worse. like
We're
where
always
the Pacific Northwest is like 110 degrees
Oh, Jesus.
right now. It's like it's actually happening. This whole climate change. People are like, I don't know. I need a little more info before I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, what do you know your vaccination rate in your country? Is it pretty high? I'm
I
imagining.
think it's less. I don't know. Probably less than 1 million done out of 25 million. It's low.
Let's see. Oh,
Um,
well, are you
So you're
having?
late to the party, huh?
I'm getting
Well,
mine on Tuesday.
well, I
Are
mean,
you doing
okay.
the one or the two?
Um, the
Yeah.
Pfizer, two Pfizers.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the one.
But
I think
I think,
that's the one that's better because I've heard. I can't remember the other one.
Moderna's the one I got. Moderna
I
was the
always heard
one.
about like side effects more on the Moderna side, but yeah, because I just it's really weird. Like we are so in America, we're like against any kind of government healthcare, but the way the vaccine was rolled out was very much a government thing. And every time we got the shot as the most efficient, like you go see a doctor in the US, you pay out the butt and you wait. It's at least 30 minutes after your appointment time, and you sit most of the time. The doctor sees you for 30 seconds. But getting the shot, the most time you spend is the 15 minutes after you get the shot. Like you're in the building and you have a shot within like a minute. It was so efficient, and it was really weird because we had to drive an hour away from where we lived to get it. And by the time we had taken the first shot, like a week later, it was a place across the street was open. And now they're like, oh, we're out of, we don't, because I'm in a state that, Chris is the same, where it's basically like in the 45 to 50% range. And it's probably not going to get much higher than that because so many people are just like,
but like stuff's back to normal for you. You're out and about, and
Well, I mean, relatively.
I don't know. It depends. I mean, I still wear, like, if I go to the grocery store, I'm going to wear a mask. And I
I'll
kind
wear
of
a
like,
mask.
I used to go into the grocery store and shop, but now they do the thing where they just put it in your car. And I kind of like that better. So
yeah.
there's some things. We've gone out to eat a couple of times, but because of our weird economy in America, every time you go to a restaurant, they're like, we're short staffed because we have employees who don't want to work for, crappy wages and dangerous conditions. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of open and kind of not. I mean, we're kind of acting like it's okay, and I know we have this new variant
It's
going around. They can ask God about the
Delta.
variant.
The Delta variant. It just came out that
It just came out. It's like the hot
Well, I
news.
mean, I just saw on the news today that cases have gone up 10% because of this new variant.
Yeah, I'm sorry to steer the story back, but I don't feel I made a point about something else earlier.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, I was talking about gel blasters. So we've got these replica guns here, right? And you put these little soft gels in them, and it fires like 12 per second, like this assault rifle. And you go to these fields, and other grown men with gel blasters and women, and you shoot each other, and you wear masks. It's like paintball, but there's no paint, and the balls are really small. But this is how litigious Australia is. There's Queensland, where I am in Australia, is the only state where gel blasters are legal, and it's a gel blaster, and I have to have my gel blasters in a bag, locked with a padlock, in my home. Otherwise, I'm breaking the law.
Breaking the law. Okay.
Thoughts?
That's insanity to me. That's just so far out of.
Yeah, we've had I think there was in Texas they changed the gun law to make it even easier to get guns, and it's already
They did it here too.
pretty easy. When I was in college, there was a place called Guns, Liquor, and Ammo, and there was a college cartoonist who did, like a cartoon about it, and a guy's like, I want a gun and I want like a fifth of vodka, and then the guy behind the counter is like, yeah, I need an ID for the vodka, because that's how it is in the US. It's like, wait, do you have a pulse? Yeah, you don't need to. Okay, good, you get it. So that's we're pretty open with.
You don't need a
with
permit
guns.
here now. You don't need a permit.
It's like,
no training, no anything. It's insane to me because cars.
They're even trying to make it more restrictive. To get a gun, it's like anything, and even I'm surprised people who are against vaccines are like wearing seatbelts because it's like
Well, that was a big
common
argument back in the
safety
day.
stuff. It's an argument. Oh,
So
we're
anyway,
we're a
we
fun
don't-
country. We lead the world for a little while. It's not going to last much longer, but
lead the world
Good
in
times.
what? But anyway, so gel blasters, and that's the thing. And you have better restrictions on these gel blasters than we have on guns here, real guns here, is what you're saying. Tony.
so is that like a
Yeah,
touristy
I was-
kind of thing? Do people come to your part of the country because you can actually use these gel blasters, which aren't even real guns, but they kind of feel like them,
Yeah.
maybe?
No, they don't. They don't. It's just a plastic toy. It's a replica. It looks exactly the same, but the thinking is you could threaten somebody with one. You're not allowed to walk down the street with them. You're not allowed to have them in your front garden.
Oh
only
my
your back garden.
God! What
Yeah.
what weird utopian universe are you
I know.
living in, man?
Yeah, I know. It's bizarre, isn't it?
Like, how's the job market down there? This could be fun.
Yeah. They're sharks, but I'll say
I had a
Just don't go in the water.
cousin, his wife worked in like Sydney for a while, and he had to travel around the world to go there. And I was like, that sounds pretty good. You got Australian rules football. It's close enough to our football, right? It's okay.
It's as big as our country, except for the edges, basically. Now, don't y'all have the outback is an entire area where nobody fucking lives practically. So I mean, that's
Yeah, you don't go out there.
it's like the Badlands or some shit.
Yeah, everyone lives on the edge.
That's kind of weird. But
What's the total population? She said, was it 25 million for the
Yeah, I
country?
think something like that. Yeah.
that's like less than a tenth of ours, I think. We're
Yeah,
like
keep free. Like, I'm in a city with like probably 7 or 8 million. I don't know. It's pretty big, but I think spread out sounds pretty good.
How often do you accidentally put caps lock on when you're typing an email? I do it all the time. I think it's because the A is so close to the caps lock.
that's true.
That's the problem.
Or do you touch type?
What does that mean?
Well, I guess you look without typing.
Yeah. I'm looking at the screen, not at the keyboard.
Right. The formal way you're supposed to learn how to type or whatever.
Oh, see, this is good. Now people that are listening are learning. Go.
We're
You ever
teaching them.
notice? Well, there's little dimples on the F and the J. If you ever notice on keyboards, there's a little,
Look at that. There is.
and that's so you know where the home keys are, or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
You see,
This is
So,
great. I just think they need to move the caps lock over a bit.
It's the pinky. You gotta watch the pinky, especially in these keyboards where the buttons are flat. It's a little easier to hit. That's why I like keyboards. They're raised a little more. The buttons are a little more, or the keys are more raised up. Whatever. But that's just a personal preference on that.
Keyboards are important. Having a nice keyboard, like you can tell when you go from a good one to a cheap one, you can really tell. Like it's good to get the nice feedback I find of a decent keyboard.
Yeah, people might laugh, but this is actually true.
Yeah.
I like the old typewriter with the big carriage return the thing. Now it's just
Yeah,
all kind of flat.
It's
and
too
there's not
easy.
much to it.
I want whiteout. I have to white out shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Analog.
You want some depth of flavor, and with that in mind, so you used to do like a Cooking with God segment in the old podcast, which of course has been destroyed, like the Old Testament. It doesn't exist anymore. But
Well, it
now
kinda
with your
We
new
do God
show,
broth.
God is doing the broth. So is there going to be like a future, obviously when you do a podcast with such a wide audience as we all have, you're thinking of like cross promotion. So is there going to be like a cookbook for God? Because I feel like his broth, very tasty. The monks as a garnish, like that's something I never thought of. I mean, it's
Yeah, he
exciting
grates
stuff.
the head. He grates the head.
He's really like pushing the boundaries of what you can do. It's good.
Yeah, I think a book could be in the offing. 101 broths, 101 God broths. Yeah.
I like the sound of that. Yeah, God broths. Okay.
Broth's a nice word, isn't it? It's a nice word to say.
Broth. It's very comforting. Even it's a very
Yeah, it's
comforting word.
deeper. I mean, there's the soup connotation, but broth. Yeah, it's got flavor.
It makes me think of home. It makes me think of a home and hearth, like a warm. Your mother is there, and you're having a nice
making a
dinner.
broth.
Yes,
And they're dead things, which God likes.
Yeah, dead burnt
God
animals.
likes the burned. Was it the burnt offerings? He was a big fan. So clearly,
Loves it.
broth is like a lighter version almost.
that's true.
God goes vegan. Try that. See how that goes.
It's mead to beer, broth to soup. Do you know what I mean? Like
Okay.
it's sort of like a step back. It's Old Testament soup, whereas soup's the New Testament. I don't know what chowder is. The Quran.
Gross.
Gross.
That's what I'm going with. I never have liked chowder. So Tony, you got the new
Chris.
shit going, right? You got the new show, the new rebranded show going, and one of my favorite things, for some reason, when God says, "Does that make sense, Tony? Does it? Does it make sense, Tony?" And he like says it over and over, like again. For some reason, that's really entertaining to me. But do you have anything? I know you're kind of starting back up, right? You kind of getting the wheels going, so you don't necessarily have everything that you want going on. But do you have any way you're going, right? So do you have any future segments, anything in the offing that we might want to know about?
Yeah, so God's Circus, that's coming up. And we're going to have God's Top 10 Miracles. So we'll cycle through those. We've just started AGA, Ask God Anything. So a lot of these podcasts have an AMA, but we do AGA because it's not about me, it's about him. So yeah, and people can ask God anything. Ask email godchatpodcast@gmail.com and ask him a bloody question. That's what it's there for. Whether it's relationship guidance, whether you're going through a bit of a tricky time with your partner and you want a bit of advice from the sweet heavenly Lord on how to deal with I don't know, your boyfriend's porn addiction or anything like that. He's there to help. And we've also got a piece called "Who's Your Favorite Deity and Why," where we discuss other deities and why you like them.
That seems he wouldn't like that too much. It seems like.
Honey, God seems like a jealous guy.
He's a jealous.
He is. Guy. Yeah, but a lot of them are dead or in deity heaven, so he doesn't mind. And it's all sort of like basically the whole thing of the show is we go out of our way to guarantee there's no truth, no nuance, and definitely no facts. It's awful.
Well, every American should fucking love that. That's basically our goddamn motto, right?
80% of the listeners, of all three of the listeners, are American.
Right, probably QAnon, right? They're all about that kind of shit.
That's solid math because, as we know, God would not do COVID because he has never done that kind of thing before in the past.
Yeah, never.
Don't check the receipts on that one.
The plagues and shit.
That might be a little tough.
Yeah. So look, it's rubbish. It's 20 minutes long, and it's just really silly.
Okay, really. I want to interrupt you a little bit because self-effacement is my gig, is my shtick. Oh. So I'm gonna need you to find another shtick because that's my thing. Okay.
Okay.
So
sure.
maybe
any
find
ideas?
A little. Let me think
Maybe
on that.
Work on the ego. I mean, you're working with God after all.
I feel like your accent kind of gives you a little, kind of a little flair, maybe, because nobody wants to hear Americans talk anymore. Jesus Christ, we're all over the fucking place. You ever heard of ugly Americans? There's a reason we're ugly.
There's no other kind, I think, as far as I know.
So, ugly American, you could be like the Brits are always cool, calm, and collected. Except for Margaret.
Very good accent, by the way. Very good accent when you did. Does that make sense? That was really good.
Don't patronize me, Tony.
No, it was, Chris. I'm not.
It's just so fucking hilarious.
I mean, isn't it what version, what accent was it? They said that like led to the Southern accent. I can't remember if it was Scottish,
Scottish.
or it was,
They
it
were
was
all
one
okay.
of those.
Scotch Irish came, Appalachia. A lot of the Scotch Irish came over and fucking raped and pillaged the Native Americans. But that's American history. We're talking about Australia. Australia is fine. They've never had a history of fucking killing any Aborigines ever. It's been fine.
Yeah, they're very nice.
What's
They
the
just
weather
shoot
like
'em
there?
with, they shoot 'em with gel, whatever those things are. It's fine.
Gel
Yeah.
yeah, they had gel blasters back
Yeah,
then.
I
They had a
mean-
nice little laugh when they were, oh, we're conquering you.
I think you broke the skin. We're good.
Well, white people are great. So anyway, Tony, aren't you in winter there? Wait a minute, they're like,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
but you're in the South Pacific, so like, does that even matter? Really?
Nah, it just means sometimes you don't wear shorts.
Fuck you. The South. Well, I don't know. Climate change. Who the fuck knows anymore?
Yeah, we're all going to be in the kind of the same boat coming forward.
Y'all get Mad Max soon with all those wildfires and shit in Australia.
Yeah. Have you seen that show Black Summer on Netflix?
I've seen it. I haven't seen it. But
Zombie show, right?
Yeah, and I know what you're thinking. Oh,
another
zombie show.
Yeah.
Finally.
But yeah, but actually, it's a really good sort of Mad Max style. Not with cars and Mel Gibson. That's awful. But it's a really good sort of post-apocalyptic view of what it'd be like. It's worth watching, and it's quite suspenseful and violent.
So is it
Bit
from
like violent.
Australia too, or is it just a show?
No, I
you
think it's
watch?
from Americans.
Oh, of course. Dystopia. We know all about dystopia.
I was just wondering because the last like Mad Max movie was really well done.
It's good, wasn't it? Yeah.
The
No,
it's like-
there's women. There were women in
I
it.
know that it's like the director was in his 70s and finally figured out that women should be in his movie instead of just being the person you get revenge upon. So it was that was good.
The howling and gnashing of teeth of the incels and the angry white men were loud, and their tears were delicious.
What's your favourite sandwich filling?
Sandwich filling.
Filling? See, that would imply that like it's a pita bread. So are you talking about like on your regular sandwich with two pieces of bread that are separate? Is that what
Yes. Yeah, I'm not talking about a pocket.
you're... Okay. See.
Otherwise, I
We're
would
in
have
the
said.
South, so it's got to be mayo, right, Chris?
Fuck no. Fuck you. No.
Yeah, not much of a.
No, there's a Publix has this what's it called? It's Chipotle Gourmand mayonnaise, right? So it's like a Chipotle like mixed in with the spicy mustard. It's got a little honey in there, so it's got the kind of the heat and the sweet, baby. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like me. I got the heat and the sweet. So that's a good little filling, I think. And of course, the usual cheese, the provolone maybe, or the little ham and turkey. I'm on a diet, so we're doing turkey.
What's provolone?
What's provolone? Well, I thought you were supposed to be fancy,
It's something- that sounds like something you do if you're checking for prostate cancer.
Don't make fun of prostate cancer, sir.
No, I'm just saying that provolone sounds like something you do.
Shit, I may have to get that done soon. But anyway, no, it's a.
We should all get it done. We should all get it done. It's no joking matter.
The night is
And I
young.
was saying before the show that I'm having prostate problems, so I'm sure everybody wanted to know that. So anyway, yeah, provolone's an Italian cheese.
Okay, there you go.
So it's
Similar to.
So I like how you try to deflect from yourself, Tony, because we all know that you have a better podcast. And before you say anything, before you try to fucking insult yourself, because there's plenty of people to do it for you.
Let us do that.
Yeah. Yes. Let other people. You've got plenty of other people. Trust me. You're gonna have plenty of other people do it for you. You do the God thing, right? You do the voice. I mean, excuse me, the way you manipulate his voice, right, is good, right?
Because otherwise, if you heard God's voice,
The
you'd
man
probably
behind
melt.
let's don't
Right.
look at the man
Yeah,
behind
if
me.
it was just me talking to me, it wouldn't be as convincing.
Yeah, that'd just be like
I don't know. It'd be
insane.
interesting. The accent, you know?
So you got that right, and then you actually are musical. Like you made that song for me. I hadn't forgot about that, Tony. And that was very sweet of you, if I may say so. I don't know if
Well,
you're
music
cool with,
music is beautiful.
you know, but I appreciated that, and I think I don't want to kiss your ass too much, but I feel like you're a talented guy, so I don't see why you couldn't make the big Patreon bucks. The problem is though, and the only thing I would suggest is that you insult liberals a little more, and then you say women are so inferior. That's the only problem I see, because the only way you make money in nowadays is if you like woke. You can't be woke. That's the problem. Be like you're hateful.
You're gonna be asleep, but not dead for 18 months. It's a slight difference.
So you're saying
Like
I've got
you
to
have
be
Paul Joseph. Doesn't Paul Joseph Watson Australian? Like he's one of those like I have an accent, so people listen to me for some reason. Things. So you actually like make an effort, which is it's commendable.
So I'm a little confused, Chris. Are you saying that I've got to be more misogynistic and right wing if I want to make money?
Make money, yes.
Hold on, let me just write this down.
Yeah, make sure you write this shit down.
It's a first
but
for
you
everything.
can't. You have to dog whistle. You can't actually say it, right? You have to use the certain phrases. Just go listen to Ben Shapiro if you want to go learn some phrases, right? Who are some other ones?
Ben Shapiro, is he living down the road from you? Oh, Steven Crowder is good, you know.
Steven Crowder.
But I think of the people like with the accents, like Paul Joseph Watson, like Sargon of Akkad. I'm like, the only reason people must listen to him because he has an accent. Still going.
Is he still?
I don't know. It's like people. No one's falling apart like Milo Yiannopoulos. Although I think he's. I don't know.
I'm not even going to try and spell that. I'm just.
He's going to Florida to create conversion therapy places.
He's going to conversion therapy, man, and that's dangerous. The messaging he's sending right there is dangerous.
What, is he going to be a Catholic?
Well, he is. I think he is.
He was molested by a Catholic
He made a big deal about like he's gay and he was married, and he did like a video where he took like his $100,000 ring and threw it into the water. Whether he actually did it, it's hard to say. But yeah, he's making a big deal about now he's ex-gay and he's going to open conversion therapy clinics in Florida because
Did he say that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I mean, you can do just don't worry about the building inspection in Florida. You're good.
It's Florida, but I'm saying that the fact that he's going to do that. You're saying he's actually going to try to do. Well, he is.
That's
going
his
to.
next career move, and considering that everything he does works about as well as everything Donald Trump does, it probably won't work for him, but it has to work for somebody.
So anyway, Tony, go watch Ben Shapiro. Watch some Ben Shapiro. Joe Rogan he's kind of the gateway drug. He's not quite as bad. Steven Crowder, who got served earlier by Sam Cedar, who's Majority Report guy. There's a whole host. Once you get into Ben Shapiro, you go down that rabbit hole, you're just basically...
Candace Owens. She's good.
I can't say what, I'm white, so I can't see that. But, Ben Shapiro is in my town now. They moved their headquarters here. So that's great. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I like it when the conservatives who are like, we got to get out of California because California's terrible because it's super liberal. Let's move to a red state, but let's move to the blue capital of that state.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Because Nashville, I can't imagine. Well, it's not. LA is kind of crazy, but
what are you
Nashville
talking about? LA
exploding.
is moving They're moving here. They're trying to plop LA in the middle. Anyway,
I know.
We're interviewing you, Tony. See, quit trying
No,
to.
no, it's just a chat. It's just a bit of a chat.
It's just a chat. It's a
no,
chat. It's not a God chat, but it's a chat.
Does
the
that
next
make
best thing.
sense, Zach? Okay. So,
Who would go with a show name like that?
Australia. What's going on in Australia? Because people don't really hear much about Australia. What's going on? Is there anything exciting going on?
No.
Is there politicians getting shit thrown at him like that one kid who, that was years ago though, but that threw
Yeah,
something.
there's just this. I try not to talk about stuff I don't know much about,
Oh, well, I
but
mean,
but I fail massively.
we
But
do.
yeah, now there's just politically here. There's just loads of stuff going on about the vaccine, and that's it. It's all very dumbed down.
Not even politically, so, I mean, kind of politically, but where you kind of at? Where's Australia at? Kind of just the zeitgeist, right? The kind of.
I don't know. I suppose really we're having a few issues with China.
Who is it?
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
there.
they're pushing back on us a lot because Australia was the first country to demand an investigation into COVID and China.
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, the relationship there is becoming fraught. But yeah, not really a lot, really. Getting some submarines built by the French, buying some boats and stuff. That's it, really.
Well, wait, okay. Before you, isn't there a coal thing in Australia? Isn't there like a whole coal industry, a huge coal industry? And I hear they were pushing back against something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but you have fossil fuel issues or something with coal industry. Apparently, I just read too much shit. So they have
it's good you're across it. The government here likes coal.
Yeah. So, do you just watch us, right? So you just like go to the pub and just like have American TV on and see what the fuck's happening?
No, actually, not really.
Good for you, actually. Fuel your sanity.
I do kind of watch it from afar as an interesting thing to watch. Really, it's strange, but I love the US. I've been there loads of times. Love it.
So is it what's the current, like, compared to like the US, do you think the government where you are, is it more liberal or conservative? Because I feel like I get like Australia and like British Twitter coming in at like certain times of the day, and they're always complaining, but it's hard to tell what's really going on when you're not plugged in like you are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really tend to get involved. I just spend a lot of time trying to corral God on the podcast, getting into
It's true.
like the amount of editing I have to do because of just the amount of shit he spouts. It's just ridiculous.
So do you have to bleep out God at some time?
No, it's just he just starts whittering on about stuff and moaning about people praying and slavery and stuff, and then after he's been in the studio, because he's so old and flaky, I have to get the Dyson out and hoover up all the flakes of skin he's left behind, like these Jurassic flakes of skin and clumps of hair that fall off him. It's just I don't have time for stuff like politics when I've got to corral the creator of the universe into the studio and get him to actually try and have a coherent conversation with me. It's quite frustrating. So then it just leaves little time for me to sit on my ass watching the news. Sorry, I'm getting a bit.
So how did God get into the Dr. Pepper? How did that happen?
Oh, he found it. He found it in the God Chat fridge. He didn't know what it was. That. Yeah. And he popped one open, and the look on his face when he tried it, he's just like a kid that had just tried Dr. Pepper for the first time. And he knew we were going on a long drive, and basically he just sat. I was doing some emails and stuff, and he just sat behind me drinking 8 cans of Dr. Pepper, and he was very, very sick.
I think God had better digestion, but
the smell of Dr. Pepper and God's bile it's mixed together on your car carpet.
What's God's bile smell like?
It's like a mixture of hay, chickens, and old prawns.
Prawns. That's a word you
Old
don't hear very
prawns.
much.
For old prawns. You call them shrimp.
Well, they're a certain kind of shrimp. They're actually a separate species. Because I'm a nerd and I know these things.
Was
They're
it
big.
shrimp or prawns that weren't allowed to be eaten in the Old Testament? That's a good
Shellfish.
question.
Shellfish.
Just
And in
shellfish.
Australia, you can't not eat that, right?
You
That's
sin. You
impossible.
sin every day. You sin every day.
Yeah, you sin every day. Well, we sin every
Does
day.
God just get mad at you? You're just like, I'm just having some prawns here, and he's like, Come
He
on,
can't
man.
remember. He doesn't remember what he's put in his book.
That's true,
That's the
yeah.
whole point of the podcast is to remind him of what a
So
fucking
God
monster
has
he is. Yeah,
God has
he is.
Alzheimer's. That seems kind
He
of
does have a
tracks.
short memory.
I don't know. He hasn't been diagnosed, but I'm seeing signs.
Let me ask you something, Tony. I don't know if this has ever... How the fuck did you meet God? How did y'all start talking?
Ooh.
How do
Now
you
that-
just start
that's-
talking to God?
Well, actually, he spoke to me when I was a bit of a low point in my life. I got passed over for a. I'll get quite emotional when I talk about this. I got passed over for a job promotion. My nemesis got the promotion I wanted, and I just remember getting the text message on my work phone saying, "Oh, congratulations to." I'm not going to say his name because I get triggered. Congratulations to this guy. He's got the new role of regional manager. And I just dropped to my knees in the car park. I was distraught. Like it was a low point in my life. And I was just like, why? God, why me? And this voice just said, well, your sales figures aren't that good and your call rates are down. And I'm like, is that you, God? And he's like, yeah. And that's kind of how it started. And, he thought it'd be a good idea if we did a podcast and give people some solid evidence as to the existence of the deity that is the creator of the universe. Does that make sense?
You need to put that on a loop. That's the next song I want from you. I want
Do
that
you-
on a loop.
Okay.
Any Christians come at you like upset that you're talking to God, or you're misrepresenting?
Yeah, some people think I'm being serious.
I've heard this, and I guess I can almost imagine where the fuck they're coming from saying that. What country, perhaps, they're coming from.
Yeah,
New Zealand,
you got it.
perhaps New Zealand.
You got it. It's really interesting. Like you'll do an occasional comment on Facebook. I don't go on the Facebooks much. It's very confusing. But you'll make a comment in a page, and someone will start saying, because I'll just put. Someone will say, oh, there isn't any evidence for God. And I'll say, well, actually, if you listen to episode 2, you'll hear God talking about this.
I mean,
And I go,
yeah.
How can you say a podcast is evidence for God? And I'm like, oh, well.
How can you say that,
Yeah, I'm just like,
Podcast is evidence for anything. It's very
Exactly. And I'm like, well,
It's just
it's like, what a
convincing
cop out.
to
I'm
me.
giving you evidence. You can hear his sweet, lovely voice, and you're telling me, even when presented with evidence, you refuse to change your mind, which I think is quite close-minded.
It is. And I just want to back up a little bit. Sweet and lovely voice. I want to kind of push back on that a little bit.
Okay.
'Cause I don't know if it's sweeter. It's kind of more it's
Grating.
mellifluous for sure. It's very sonorous, right? But I don't know. It has the problem is he doesn't give a fuck about anything, right?
No.
So it kind of lacks a little bit of so the sweetness you're talking about isn't quite there.
Okay.
I'm just putting it out there.
That's fine. I'm just thinking about the Does It Make Sense song and how I'm going to weave that into the next episode.
Well, then you need to get a life, sir. Okay? Because if that's what's on your mind, you need to think about not having guns. Just don't, that's what I would be thinking about the entire fucking time. God, isn't it lovely that people can't walk around without a permit and their penis basically on the outside because they have guns fucking everywhere?
Things escalated quickly.
That's
So you're able, with your connection to God, to summon lightning over a certain person's house, or because no.
I've tried that, but he just shuts down.
Huh.
If I try and any sort of form of nepotism, it's
God's
just
not into
shut
like
down.
smiting, kind of past that.
He will smite people, but not on my behalf. I mean, that's just not his MO.
Here's the thing: there's a YouTube series that Hemant Mehta, the friendly atheist, did about like God's body count. And the Old Testament is pretty high, but in the New Testament it gets really low. Like Jesus is kind of like the last, death, and it's like
but I
he
think
seems
it's
to
like
have calmed.
I think it's like in the Old Testament. I think it's upward of 2 million, because I actually had this chat with Conversations with God when I did that podcast, and it's upwards of 2 million, and Satan was about 3. It's like there's a little bit of an
the number 3.
Yeah. There's a little bit of an imbalance in the amount of deaths in the Bible. Yeah.
Well, he's not killed as many people as that dude on Dune, but Chris and I will have that in a separate conversation.
What the fuck? That came out of nowhere. Don't bring up Dune.
I just finished reading the second Dune book, and apparently the guy killed 61 billion people, which like God would have been like, nice work, man. He's a big little jelly over that. That's a lot. That's a big number.
What's Dune? Is that like a Scottish book?
Oh no! Oh no! The wrath will be switching on you.
No, sir. Don't tell me you've never heard of Dune, one of the best sci-fi books ever written.
Hey, I need to sit Dune.
Tony. Ask about it. God's like all-knowing. Ask him. Fuck. Or does he even tell you? He just tells you what he wants to tell you.
He probably doesn't like stories that are better than his own.
Dune. I'll put it in Ask God Anything. I'll ask him.
There you go.
We're in.
Just make sure he has to say at least once an episode. Does it make sense, Tony? Does it? What doesn't make sense is this cat on my keyboard.
That makes perfect sense.
No, Tony. Okay, so you met God in a parking lot, basically, is what you're saying. Which people could say about prostitutes, which is fine. God is kind of a prostitute, and I'm not sex shaming. Sex
I think that's a bit of a jump there, Chris.
Well,
I've never met a prostitute in a parking lot.
Wait a minute. I didn't say you, sir. I said it was similar. It's not the same thing. So
do they like parking then? Do they usually have cars?
No, they pick you. They go to your car, and have you never seen movies? Anyway, whatever. So
Are you talking about Carhead?
Uh-oh. There went my camera. I wonder why.
I think the cat deity just took over the show.
Fucking, you're an asshole. Okay.
So
anyway,
talking to me.
Immediately, or was it like you had to work into it?
All right, we lost the audio a little bit there.
Yeah, let's. Do you have what might you not have? Do you have milk in America?
We do.
Cool.
Oh, he's back. Do we have milk in America?
What do you use it for? Do you put it in tea?
Ooh, what's tea?
It's like coffee but older.
No, I just remember the TV show Flight of the Conchords, and they're out of like New Zealand, and they kind of act like New Zealand and Australia have a big like rivalry going on. But even New Zealand is a lot smaller, right?
Yeah, I think about 6 million. New Zealand's cool.
The best part is they said there's an episode, and they go, well, in New Zealand we say park the car, and in Australia you say park the car, and they're like pretending it's a different accent, but it's really not. I'm sure it is. I'm sure you guys can tell.
It is. It's very different. It's very different.
I mean, they have Lord of the Rings. Oops.
You see, I never saw that. Was it good?
It was good. I don't know if it's as good as Dune, right, Chris? Dune is one of those cheesy 80s movies that was on HBO all the time. I just remember that. Oh, wow. See, it's his show, so I'm kind of surprised that it's still going on, even though he left. But I'm guessing he's coming back on. I have no idea. Apparently, I don't know, cats are the gods of mischief, so they like to break stuff. and they prefer pets than you talking to somebody else.
Can you
So
hear
that's
me?
what's happening. There you go.
Does that make sense?
Does that make sense? Well, the audio's a little low, but you're there.
Am I? Is it the wrong word?
It's weird because now it's like half your face, which is probably a good thing for the audience. Anyway, yeah, it was bad. Are you still doing the guitar? Are you still doing songs?
No, the strings came off it. I have no idea how to get them back on. So
Is that when you were dead?
yeah,
I mean, that makes sense.
it does make sense. So yeah, now I just use audio software to generate ditties and songs, virtual software, virtual instruments.
Man.
It's much more fun than this.
Does it make sense?
Chris, you make lots of sense.
No,
Chris does make sense.
No, I don't, because I'm still trying to get the.
There's a podcast. There is actually a podcast out there called Making Sense.
Oh,
It's just-
fuck off! It's fucking Sam Harris's ass. Is what it is.
Oh, was that
Is
him
that
and
right?
Ricky Gervais?
No, it's
Is
just,
that it?
That's actually his old.
Oh,
I think it's his old. Because now he's doing the fucking the meditation.
well, he's been doing that for a while. I
But
don't know why,
making
Chris, your
sense.
audio is a lot lower.
It doesn't make sense that there's another podcast called Making Sense. Because I think my podcast makes sense.
I wish it would make more sense. I'm not a fan of guys who promote stuff like race IQ type stuff, but that's the issues we're having. That's why God is better, because he doesn't do that kind of stuff.
I did actually toy with the idea of calling it Godcast.
Well, the best part is like when you look up your show, the other shows that come up are all like Christian. So
Yeah.
you could probably have interesting Christian guests, and they could talk to God, and they might actually think they're talking to God, and it could be good.
I don't know. I think after 30 seconds of conversing with him, it's quite obvious that he's just a giant twat in space.
I'm glad I came back for that.
In space.
Wasn't that a skit in Muppets?
Pigs in space.
Yeah,
Pigs in
pigs in
space.
space.
Yeah.
But yeah, pigs in space. Okay. Tony, do you mind if I ask you how old you are? You don't have to tell me exactly. Would you say you're in the Gen X contingent?
I don't know what that means. 47.
Wow.
Okay.
You're in our range, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
just
you
based
know
on your
these-
avatar, you look, late 30s at the most, so that's good.
You look good for your age, Tony.
You look Australian for your age. Oh, wait, is that good?
Mm-mm.
Probably an insult. I'm sorry.
He's from the UK originally, if I'm not mistaken, sir.
Yeah, that's it.
Why the fuck did you come to Australia? The weather? I would admit, I don't know.
Just the whole thing, really. It's brilliant. It's just brilliant. It's just great to live here. I don't know what else to say. Yeah, it is. It is. It's just.
I think it's just so far removed from any experience that most people have had, because it's just like literally on the other side of the world, and it's a different hemisphere. At least in this country, and anybody in the northern Europe or America or any place like it, it's just such a weird.
It's a solid, it's obviously based on our whole time zone issues we're having. It's the other side of the world, so it's if you flew from where I am to you, it'd probably take a day and a half.
Yeah, it's 14 hours to get to LA from here.
14. Well, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
They must have. It must have, because I flew to Frankfurt from Atlanta a long time ago. My dad was in the military, and I could have swore it was about 12 hours. So it's maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit closer to Europe, isn't it? I think?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, okay.
It's about half that to get to. Because I've been to Hawaii twice, and it's probably a good 8 hours. So to get to you is probably twice that much.
Have you guys heard of Formula One racing?
Oh yeah.
In the next episode, God's driving a Formula One car.
Oh no,
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
it's going to be end poorly.
Well, is it? Would he let it in?
He's actually quite good. He's actually quite good at driving.
I was gonna say, isn't he like the ruler of the universe? Wouldn't he?
You could probably handle a manual transmission. That's my guess.
What do you drive, manual or automatic when you drive?
There aren't too many manuals left. Like I had one when I was in like college age, but now, I don't.
I actually have a manual, and I went out of my way to get a cheaper car. Guess what? It wasn't cheaper in the long run.
Oh,
Because that clutch went out. The clutch went out. It was like $1,500 to get it fixed.
Yeah, clutches are a bit of a nightmare.
So, in the long run, I got you live and you learn, right? So, but most of the newer sports cars have it. If you get a high-end sports car, you're getting a 6-speed.
I think it's a shame. Like I'm thinking of getting a new car, and I think I am considering getting a manual because like it's just so boring driving automatic.
But it used to be manuals for better gas mileage, but nowadays it's
they're pretty efficient now. The semi-triptronic gearboxes.
The automatics are just so that's computerized, and it's just so slick. And you're right; it's more of a tactile thing, I guess.
Analog.
So even with the issues with vaccinating, people are getting around. Then, I mean, there aren't that many infections, right?
Not really. Like a few, and then they lock everything down for a 3-day. We had a 3-day lockdown, but we're out of that tonight at 6:00. No, hardly any cases really. It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Shut the fuck up. You know what?
Like we shut the borders down. Well, God told me that Australia shut the borders down straight away. But like in England, they just didn't. They just left the international borders open, and that's why shit fight.
Boris Johnson's a great guy.
Yeah, England and the U.S. in terms of like percentage of deaths are probably pretty close. I mean, it's crazy. Like we had the flu in like 100 years ago, and they didn't do anything to stop that. And I think we have more deaths from this.
Oh, it's like we didn't learn anything.
Well, I think we've had too many. Like during the whole COVID situation, I read The Stand, like the Stephen King book, about like a super flu coming out, and all these stories about the flu coming out are like they kill like 99% of the people. In this case, it was like 0.1%. So everybody's like, "Oh, we're good," but that's still 600,000 dead people. How many football stadiums is that? That is a crazy amount of dead people, and the people who got sick. We don't know what the long term effects are going to be.
I actually would like to give an anecdote thing, because somebody who works for me got COVID, and she is having mini strokes right now. And she says it's from that. Like there are people with we don't know the long term effects because it hasn't been around long enough, right? So I mean, there's because in this country, what's more important than anything is freedom. Tony, I don't know if you know what freedom is in Australia, because the government holds you down. You can't have guns, for fuck's sake. I don't know. It's like fucking Marxist. It's like fucking Stalin in Australia, apparently, right? So
I mean, you have Fosters down there, and that's not a good thing.
That's not. They don't even like that there.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you import it to the U.S., it's probably not a good one because it's popular.
We got Bud.
Here.
Anything is better than Bud, for fuck's sake. Anyway. So we like freedom here, and we don't work. They're great. There's no empathy in this country, right? So I don't know if the empathy ratio there is any better. I don't know, but here it just seems like nobody gives a fuck about anybody else, and I know that's baked into the whole American experiment. But would you, Tony, say that like maybe your empathy level is higher as a general rule, or do you think it's about just the same?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
Yeah. See. So I don't know. I'm putting off on you, of course. You putting off our problems on you is not. We didn't have you here to sit here and hear us bitch about America, right? We can do that.
That's why I'm here.
Well, no, sir, you're not.
He understands.
I'm just one. It's like an let's say, just like a normal day in Australia, right? So one thing I worry about is you drive on the wrong side of the road, right? That's an issue for me. I'm willing to let that go though. Okay. So Queensland, is that in the Gold Coast, or is that a different thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you remember Adam Reeks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know Adam Reeks?
No.
Or you know about him? Well, Zach, he knows.
We think everybody knows everybody in
Yeah,
Australia.
no. All the
It's
Australians
like
know each
if, you,
other.
if you're from England, oh, do you know the Queen?
No, totally know the Queen. Yeah.
What was the? Oh God. He
Hey,
had-
Chris. Sorry to interrupt. Can you check the chat window?
Yeah, Chris, you paying attention?
I'm looking at the chat window. Is there
Private
something
chat.
happening? There's something
Dude.
there. Let me see. What chat window, sir?
Well, what he's trying to say is God has told him that he might have to go pretty soon, so we might have to wrap it up.
Okay.
But we can do it again.
No, that's cool.
Or
Sorry.
yeah,
Okay,
do a part 2.
that's cool.
And I can open up about day-to-day life in Australia.
No, that's cool. I just lose track. Sorry, I live with 3 cats. I have nobody here. I apologize because I talk to myself all fucking day. So I forget. Other people don't do that. So, Tony. So where can people check out your awesome show?
God Chat with God and Tony, just on all the usual places, really, on all the apps, platform things, on the interwebs. Yeah, iTunes, all that. Podbean. I'm rubbish at this, by the way. Yeah, just Google it. Just give it a few minutes. You probably won't like it. Recommend it to people you don't like. Recommend it to people you don't like, because if you recommend it to someone you like, they'll get pissed off with you.
Tony, you got to work.
Use the God Chat computer, and you will find it.
Yeah,
Eventually.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a little dial up. You're good.
I've really enjoyed spending an hour and 12 shooting the breeze with you guys, and it was great to have you on, Zach, as well, as like a bit of a because I am fairly boring, so it's good to have another angle.
Whatever.
I think you're just fine. I think it's been good talking to you. I'm glad we got to catch up, and please don't have another 18 months dead coma before we talk
Yeah,
again.
can we not do that again?
No.
Okay.
We'll may some guitar strings. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And if God ever, I don't know how he runs the show, but if he ever wants to have somebody on to stroke his ego or whatever,
Go on there,
said
yeah.
ego, calm down a little bit, buddy. Just don't hesitate to give us a call. Or
Okay.
Whatever. Or
Nice.
let them talk to us in their head or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
How
Well,
we doing?
sorry.
Thanks, chaps.
Take it easy, man. I'm sorry we kept you so long.
Nah, all good. All
Take
good.
it easy.
Take it easy, guys.
Good to talk with you. All right.
We're gonna wrap this up, I guess.
Yeah, it's like he sent the message, but I don't want to say anything.
Did he? Where did he send it?
Yeah, it's a private chat, which, by the way, I've seen like 3 times in the whole time I've ever done a show.
Oh,
So
there
it popped up, and I was like, because no one's in the comments.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot that was there.
Yeah. I didn't know how long because usually I tried
I'm
45
sorry.
to an hour.
I
and
had
it was
no idea. I had
Mhm.
no idea. Apologies to Tony, but
He's probably to go into whatever the day job is for him. So
yeah, it's like 8 o'clock or something. But you also
Mhm.
have a day job, Zach.
I do.
Yeah.
Don't you?
I don't know. Do I? I lose track of time and space. I don't know what fucking alternate reality.
You actually go into an office occasionally. I don't.
Mm-mm. I haven't been in A couple of weeks now, I think. And
I
I don't
think
know how long I'm going to be here.
I'm currently working for a company that has told me that if I want to be full time, I have to move to potentially Jacksonville. So we'll see.
Well, there's some people in Jax.
Yeah, Corey lives there, but like the whole time I've been talking to her, she's like, "Yeah, I can't wait to get out of here." And I'm like, "Oh, now I'm like, I might move here." She's like, "Oh, it's awesome." I'm like, "Uh-huh."
Whatever. I keep telling them I'm going to come down there.
It's somewhat close to it, to a beach, but I prefer the Gulf to the. But I'm wondering with all the climate change, I'm like, when there's going to be a time where you can just buy a place on.
Go to Canada. It's going to be
Yeah.
like the same weather soon. So just move to Canada, right?
All right. Well,
All right,
I'm
Zach.
gonna go
Well, thanks
watch
for coming on.
some basketball and
Oh,
let me know
that's
when
cool that you can watch basketball. That's
Yeah, I
cool.
wonder who set me up. Some guy who probably needs more beer.
No, I never.
I saw you go for number 2. Look at you, strong to the hole.
I had to go pee, man. I told you I'm having prostate problems.
I was
All right,
like,
dude.
It's
Well-
enough being our relative age is like going through the night without peeing. Come on, man. But yeah, going through an hour of a show.
You laugh.
I have a 10-foot commute right now, and it's like, oh, I gotta go. All right. Well, thanks for having me on. That was fun.
All right, and
All good.
hopefully you'll make a return appearance. And until next time, y'all take it easy now. Okay.